Love English Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Love English Podcast. We're here to help you learn the English that people actually use in their everyday lives. I'm your host, Leo.
And I'm Emma. It's so great to be with you all again. Leo, I have to say, it is a beautiful day today, isn't it?
It really is. The sun is shining, there's not a cloud in the sky. It puts you in a good mood. And just like that, you've perfectly set up our topic for today's episode.
Let me guess. Talking about the weather?
Exactly. It might sound like the most basic, simple topic in the world, but it's arguably one of the most important for social interaction in English-speaking cultures. It's the king of small talk.
I completely agree. If you're standing in line for coffee, waiting for an elevator, or starting a conversation with a new coworker, the weather is the safest and most common go-to topic. But why is that? Why are we so obsessed with talking about something we have no control over?
That's a great philosophical question to start with. I think it's because the weather is a universal, shared experience. No matter who you are, where you're from, or what you believe in, we are all experiencing the same weather at that moment. It's neutral ground. It's not controversial like politics or religion. It's a simple way to create an instant, brief connection with another person.
That makes so much sense. It's a way of saying, hello, I see you, we share this space and this moment. So if our listeners want to master the art of small talk, they have to master talking about the weather. Where should we begin? The basics?
Let's start with the absolute fundamentals, the 4 main categories. Let's start with the best one, a sunny day. The simplest phrase is, it's sunny today. But that's a bit plain, isn't it?
It is. A more natural way to say it might be, what a beautiful day. Or, the weather is lovely today, isn't it? That last part, isn't it, is a tag question, and it's great for inviting the other person to agree and respond.
Excellent point. You could also be more descriptive. There's not a cloud in the sky. That paints a beautiful picture of a perfectly clear blue sky. Or on a summer day, I'm going to go outside and soak up some sun. To soak up the sun means to enjoy and absorb the sunshine.
I love that phrase. Now, what about the opposite of a sunny day? A cloudy day?
When the sky is full of clouds, you can say, it's cloudy today. A more descriptive and slightly more negative-sounding word is overcast. You'd say, it's so overcast today, I don't think we'll see the sun at all.
Overcast is a great word. It sounds a bit heavy. I also hear the word gloomy. Does that mean the same thing?
That's a great question. They are similar, but gloomy describes the feeling that the weather creates. An overcast sky can make the day feel gloomy or depressing. So you could say, it's really overcast and gloomy today. It makes me just want to stay inside and read a book.
So overcast describes what you see, and gloomy describes how it makes you feel. I like that distinction. Okay, so from clouds often comes rain. How do we talk about that?
Rain has so many different levels. If it's just very light rain, you can say it's drizzling or it's just spitting. Spitting is very informal.
Right. Drizzling is that annoying light rain where you're not sure if you need an umbrella, but you end up getting wet anyway. What about regular rain?
For a standard rain, you just say, it's raining. But if it's raining very heavily, we have some more dramatic phrases. You can say, it's pouring outside, or it's really coming down out there.
I've also heard the famous idiom, it's raining cats and dogs. Do people actually still say that?
Honestly, not really. It's a very famous idiom that every English learner knows, but native speakers rarely use it anymore. It sounds quite dated. Saying it's pouring or it's coming down in sheets is much more common and natural sounding today.
That's a really important tip for our listeners. Don't use raining cats and dogs if you want to sound modern. Okay, our last of the big 4, the wind.
You'd say it's windy today. If it's just a light, pleasant wind, especially on a hot day, you might call it a breeze. You could say, I love this gentle breeze, it's so refreshing. But if the wind is strong and maybe a bit destructive, you might say, the wind is really powerful today. Be careful driving.
So we have the 4 basics, sunny, cloudy, rainy, windy. But what about temperature? That's a huge part of the weather conversation.
Absolutely. Let's start with hot weather. The basic word is hot. It's hot today. But again, we can be more descriptive. If it's very, very hot, you can say it's boiling or it's scorching.
Scorching sounds like you're actually being cooked. I also hear people say it's a scorcher today.
Yes, a scorcher is a noun for a very hot day. Now, a key word that goes with hot weather is humid. Humid is when there's a lot of moisture in the air. The air feels heavy and sticky. A dry heat, like in a desert, can be very hot but not humid. Many people find humid heat more uncomfortable.
Definitely. You feel all sticky and sweaty. You could say, oh, it's not the heat I mind, it's the humidity. It's so muggy today. Muggy is another great word for that warm, damp, unpleasant feeling.
Let's go to the other end of the thermometer, cold weather. It's cold is the basic phrase. If it's just a little cold, you'd say it's chilly. You might say, you should bring a jacket. It's getting chilly outside.
Chilly is the perfect word for that first hint of autumn in the air. What if it's colder than just chilly?
Then you get to freezing. You can say, it's freezing out there. Often, people will say this for dramatic effect, even if the temperature isn't technically at the freezing point. It just means very cold.
And what about the things associated with cold weather, like frost?
Frost is that thin layer of ice that covers the ground and car windshields in the morning. You could say, wow, there was a frost last night. Look, all the grass is white.
And then there's snow, which is a whole other category. People who live in cold climates love to talk about snow.
They do. A light, gentle snow can be described as flurries. It's not really snowing properly, it's just flurries. If a lot of snow falls, you might wake up to a blanket of snow covering everything. But a very heavy, intense snowstorm with strong winds is called a blizzard.
Blizzard is an extreme weather word. That brings us to another interesting area. Exciting and dangerous weather, like thunderstorms.
A thunderstorm is a storm with thunder and lightning. Thunder is the loud rumbling sound you hear. Lightning is the bright flash of light you see in the sky. You could say, did you hear that rumble of thunder? A storm is coming.
And a flash of lightning just lit up the whole sky. It's beautiful, but also a little scary. Okay, so we have a huge amount of vocabulary now. Let's talk about how to use it. You mentioned it's for small talk. Let's role play. Imagine we are two strangers waiting for a bus. How would I start?
You'd turn to me, gesture at the sky, and say something simple. Go ahead.
Whew, it's a hot one today, isn't it?
That's a perfect opener. As the other person, I'd reply, it sure is. I wasn't expecting it to be this humid. See, I agreed with you and then added a new detail, humid.
Now it's my turn to keep it going. I could say, me neither. The forecast said it would be cloudy. I guess you can't always trust the weatherman.
And there you go. In 3 lines of dialogue, we've connected, agreed on a shared experience, and even made a small joke. It's a successful small talk interaction. The goal isn't to have a deep conversation, just to be friendly for a moment.
I love that. Now, what about some of the fun idioms related to weather? I feel like this is where the language gets really creative.
It does. A very common one is feeling under the weather. This has nothing to do with rain. It means you feel sick or unwell. For example, I'm not going to work today. I'm feeling a bit under the weather.
That's a great one. What's another?
How about on cloud 9? If you are on cloud 9, you are extremely happy and joyful. She just got engaged. She's been on cloud 9 all week.
That's a lovely image. I've also heard every cloud has a silver lining. What does that mean?
It's an optimistic expression. It means that in every bad situation, there is something good to be found. For example, I lost my job, but the silver lining is that now I have time to travel, which I've always wanted to do.
That's a beautiful way to look at life. Let's do one more. How about come rain or shine?
That means you will do something regardless of any difficulties, or literally regardless of the weather. It shows commitment. Don't worry, I'll be at your soccer game tomorrow, come rain or shine.
These idioms are fantastic. They make your English sound so much more natural and fluent. So we've covered vocabulary, how to use it in small talk, and idioms. Let's talk about how weather conversations change depending on the situation. For example, making plans.
Weather is crucial for making plans. Let's do another role play. We're friends talking on the phone about our weekend plans. You start.
Hey, Leo. I was thinking we should have that picnic in the park we talked about on Saturday. What do you think?
Hey Emma, that's a great idea, but have you checked the weather forecast? The forecast is the prediction of future weather.
Oh, no, I haven't. Is it bad?
Well, it says there's a 70% chance of thunderstorms in the afternoon.
Oh, really? That's a shame. A thunderstorm would definitely ruin a picnic. Okay, so scratch the picnic idea. Maybe we could go to the cinema instead.
To scratch an idea means to cancel it. The cinema is a great plan B. That way, the weather doesn't matter. So you see, talking about the weather was essential to making a successful plan.
This is so much deeper than I thought. It's not just about saying it's sunny. It's about connecting, planning, and expressing feelings.
Exactly. It's a huge part of the cultural fabric. Complaining about the weather is another big one. It's a way for people to bond. I am so sick of this rain. It's been raining for 3 days straight. Someone else might chime in. I know, right? My garden is completely flooded. It's a shared frustration.
It's amazing how a conversation about the weather can lead to so many different places. We've talked about the words, the idioms, the function of it in small talk and planning. I feel like our listeners are now fully equipped.
I agree. Let's do a final quick recap of the key takeaways. First, don't be afraid to start a conversation with the weather. It's normal and expected. Second, try to use more descriptive words than just good or bad. Use words like overcast, humid, chilly, or scorching. Third, learn a few key idioms like under the weather to make your English sound more advanced.
And finally, remember that talking about the weather isn't really about the weather. It's about making a human connection. It's a tool for being a friendly, social person.
Well said, Emma. And on that note, we hope the weather is lovely wherever you are listening from. Thank you for tuning in to the Love English podcast.
We'll talk to you in the next one. Bye, everyone.
Thanks for listening to Love English podcast. Remember, every minute you spend learning English is an investment in your future. Keep learning and see you in the next episode.